The night was cold, and the streets of Los Angeles were buzzing with noise. But in one quiet corner, a little girl sat alone on the pavement. Her clothes were worn, her shoes torn, and her face carried the kind of sadness no child should ever have. She held a piece of cardboard with shaky handwriting that said, "Please help my mom. She is very sick." Most people passed by without stopping. Some looked away. Others whispered under their breath. But the girl stayed strong, clutching her small bag of belongings and staring at the ground. Inside, she was trembling, but her eyes showed a strange mix of fear and determination. Then, a black car pulled up nearby. The door opened, and a man stepped out quietly, dressed simply in jeans and a jacket. It was Keanu Reeves. He had been leaving a late meeting, hoping to get home quickly. Yet something about the girl sitting alone in the dark made him stop. He walked closer, his steps soft, not wanting to frighten her. The girl lifted her head and gasped. Her tired eyes widened. She recognized him, but she didn't scream, didn't ask for a photo. Instead, she whispered in a fragile voice, "Sir, can you please help my mom?" Keanu felt his chest tighten. He knelt down so he was eye level with her. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "My name is Lily," she said, her voice breaking. "My mom is very sick. We lost our home. I don't know what else to do. I'm scared she will—" She stopped, unable to finish. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she quickly wiped them away, trying to be brave. That act, the courage of a child holding back her own pain for her mother's sake, hit Keanu deeply. People walked by, some slowing down to stare, others pretending not to see. But for Keanu, the world around them faded. All he could focus on was Lily, a child desperate enough to beg a stranger, him of all people, to save her mother. "Where is your mom now?" he asked softly. Lily clutched her bag tighter and pointed to a broken-down car parked across the street. Its windows were covered with old blankets, and the back seat was piled with bags and coats. "She's inside," Lily whispered. "She's sleeping, but she keeps coughing and she can't stand up anymore. I don't know what to do." Keanu's throat went dry. This was no ordinary fan encounter. This was life, raw and painful, happening in front of him. He stood slowly, glanced at the car, then back at Lily. Inside, a storm of thoughts swirled. He had seen pain before, but this was different. This was a child facing a world far too cruel, and he knew he could not simply walk away. But Keanu also knew that helping them would not be simple. Sometimes, when you step into someone's darkest moment, you uncover truths you never expected. And as he looked into Lily's eyes, he sensed that her story, and her mother's, was hiding something far deeper than he could imagine. Still kneeling in front of her, he placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Okay, Lily," he said. "Let's go see your mom together." The girl nodded, her face filled with both relief and fear. As they crossed the street, Keanu had no idea that this choice, made in a quiet moment of compassion, was about to change his life forever. The air grew colder. As Keanu and Lily walked toward the old car, every step made her small shoulders shake, but she kept going, clutching her bag tightly. The car looked worse the closer they got. One of the doors was tied shut with rope, and the windshield had a long crack running through it. Inside, through the blanket-covered windows, a dim figure could be seen curled up on the back seat. "Is that your mom?" Keanu asked gently. Lily nodded, then bit her lip, as if she was afraid of what he might see. She opened the car door slowly, and a faint cough echoed from inside. A thin woman lay huddled under old coats. Her face was pale, her breathing uneven. Even in the dim light, Keanu could see her condition was serious. The woman stirred, her eyes half opening. When she noticed her daughter with a stranger, her weak voice croaked, "Lily, who is this?" Before Lily could answer, Keanu crouched down and said quietly, "My name is Keanu. I just want to help. Please don't worry." The woman's eyes widened slightly, as if she recognized the name, but she didn't speak. She turned her gaze toward Lily, who squeezed her mother's hand and whispered, "Mom, it's okay. He wants to help us." A silence followed, heavy and uncertain. Then the woman coughed again, her body trembling. Keanu instinctively reached into his pocket, pulling out his phone. "She needs a doctor," he said firmly. But Lily panicked. She grabbed his hand quickly and whispered, "Please, no hospitals. They'll take her away. They'll take me away, too. Please don't call them." Her voice was sharp with fear, so strong that Keanu froze. "Lily," he said softly, "why would they take you away?" She shook her head, refusing to explain, tears threatening to fall. "Just please, don't call them. Promise me." Keanu stayed quiet for a moment, then put the phone away. He didn't want to break her trust, but inside he knew something was very wrong. He helped the mother sit up slightly. Her voice trembled as she finally spoke. "Thank you for stopping. Most people don't even look at us anymore." Keanu felt the weight of her words. How many had passed by without care? How long had they been invisible? He gently asked, "How long have you both been living here?" The mother closed her eyes. "Too long," she whispered. Lily, trying to hold back tears, finally spoke up. "Since Dad left. Since everything went wrong. We've been hiding." Her voice cracked, and she quickly looked away. Keanu's heart ached. He could sense there was more to the story. Something painful. Something dangerous. Just then, the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the alley nearby. A shadow moved, then another. Two men appeared from the darkness, their clothes rough, their eyes sharp. "There you are," one of them said coldly, staring at the car. "We told you what would happen if you didn't pay." Keanu immediately stood up, his body tense. The men's eyes landed on him and they smirked. "And who's this? Your new protector?" Lily gasped and clutched her mother tighter. Her mother's face went pale with fear. Keanu could see the truth in their eyes. The family wasn't just homeless. They were running from something, or someone. The men stepped closer, their voices low and threatening. "You know the rules. No one escapes owing us." Keanu's hands clenched. This was no longer just about sickness or poverty. This was about survival. He calmly positioned himself between the men and the car. "Leave them alone," he said, his voice steady but firm. The men laughed. "Oh, you think you can tell us what to do?" one sneered. "Do you even know who you're dealing with?" Keanu didn't flinch. His presence alone made them hesitate. The silence grew heavy until the mother whispered weakly from the car, "Please, just go. Please don't make it worse." But the men ignored her. They leaned forward, their voices dripping with menace. "This isn't over. We'll be back. And next time you'd better be ready." With that, they disappeared back into the shadows, leaving a chilling silence behind. Lily was trembling, her small body pressed against her mother. Keanu knelt down again, looking into her terrified eyes. "Who were they?" he asked softly. Her mother's lips quivered. "People we should never have trusted. We thought they would help us, but instead, they trapped us. We tried to escape. And now—" She stopped, coughing hard. Lily whispered, almost too quietly to hear, "They want money we don't have, and if we can't pay, they'll take me away." Keanu's chest tightened. The pieces were coming together. This was more than bad luck. This was a trap, a cruel cycle that had destroyed this family. And now, standing here, he realized that helping them would mean going against people who wouldn't stop until they got what they wanted. But when he looked at Lily, her fragile bravery and her mother's failing strength, he knew there was no choice. He took a slow breath and said firmly, "You're not alone anymore. I'll help you, whatever it takes." 4. The first time, Lily's eyes lit up, not with complete trust yet, but with a fragile spark of hope she had almost lost. The night seemed heavier after the men left. Lily clung to her mother's hand as if letting go would mean losing her forever. Keanu sat on the curb beside the car, his thoughts racing. He had promised to help, but now he understood that this wasn't just about food or shelter. It was about protection, about danger that lurked close. The mother coughed again, her weak frame shaking under the pile of coats. Keanu leaned closer. "We can't stay here," he said softly. "It's not safe. Those men will come back." Lily's eyes widened. "But where will we go?" she whispered. "They always find us." Keanu paused. The way she said it chilled him. It wasn't the first time they had run. This was a pattern, a constant fear. "They won't find you this time," he said, firmly. "But I need to know the truth. Who are they? Why are they after you?" The mother hesitated, her face pale. For a moment, Keanu thought she might stay silent. Then, with trembling lips, she whispered, "We borrowed money. I lost my job. I tried everything, but no one would help. Then these men offered quick cash. I thought I could pay it back. But they lied. The debt keeps growing, and now they say the only way is—" She stopped, her eyes filling with tears. Lily buried her face against her mother's shoulder. "They want me," she whispered, her voice shaking. Keanu froze, his stomach twisted at her words. He understood now. These men weren't just collectors. They were predators, and this child, innocent and brave, was their target. His jaw tightened. He knew he had to move fast. "Listen," he said quietly but firmly. "I'm not letting them touch either of you. But to keep you safe, we have to leave right now." Mother coughed, shaking her head weakly. "I can't walk far," Keanu thought quickly. His car was still nearby. He could take them, but that meant those men would know he had stepped in. He glanced at Lily, whose tired eyes begged him silently. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something strange. Across the street, a man in a hoodie stood under a flickering streetlight watching them. When Keanu turned his head fully, the man slipped into the shadows, his heart beat faster. They were already being followed. "Come on," he whispered urgently. He opened his car door and carefully helped the mother inside, while Lily held on to her tightly. Keanu moved quickly, but gently, keeping his eyes on the dark corners of the street. Once they were in, he started the engine. As they drove, silence filled the car. The city lights blurred past the windows, but inside, it felt like time had slowed. Lily leaned against her mother, whispering softly, as if afraid the world outside could still hear. After a while, Keanu spoke. "Do you have anyone you can trust? Family? Friends?" The mother shook her head weakly. "No one left," Lily whispered. "Everyone left us when things got hard." The words cut deep. Keanu gripped the steering wheel tighter. He thought about taking them to a shelter or calling the police. But Lily's fear of hospitals, of authorities, made him hesitate. Something told him there was more to this story, something they weren't saying. As he drove further, his phone buzzed. He ignored it at first, but when it buzzed again, he glanced at the screen. It was an unknown number. The message read, "Stay out of this, Reeves. This is bigger than you. Walk away if you want to stay safe." Keanu's eyes narrowed. Whoever these people were, they already knew his name. He slipped the phone back into his pocket, not wanting Lily or her mother to see. But inside, his thoughts grew darker. This wasn't a random group of thugs. This was organized, powerful, and dangerous. He finally pulled into a quiet neighborhood where he knew he could keep them safe for the night. It was an old friend's place, someone who owed him a favor, someone he trusted. As he helped the mother out of the car, Lily clutched his sleeve. "Why are you helping us?" she asked softly. Keanu looked down at her, his expression calm but firm. "Because no one should go through this alone. And because you were brave enough to ask." Her eyes filled with tears. But this time, she let them fall inside the safe house. The mother lay on a couch, wrapped in clean blankets. Lily sat beside her, refusing to sleep. Keanu stepped into the kitchen to make a call. When his friend answered, Keanu's voice was low. "I need information, quickly, about a group that preys on families, uses debt as a weapon. They're after a little girl, and they just sent me a warning." His friend was silent for a moment before saying, "You don't know what you've stepped into, Keanu. These people, they're connected. Powerful. Some say even the police can't touch them." Keanu's voice hardened. "Then I'll touch them." He ended the call and walked back into the room. Lily was half asleep, holding her mother's hand tightly, as if afraid someone would take her away in the night. Keanu stood there for a moment, watching them. He knew he had a choice. He could walk away, let someone else handle it. But deep down, he understood that wasn't who he was. Because sometimes fate places people in front of you for a reason. And in that moment, Keanu knew that protecting Lily and her mother was no accident. It was a fight he was meant to face, no matter the cost. The safe house was quiet, but it was not peace. The kind of silence that filled the small living room was heavy, restless, the silence before a storm. Lily sat beside her mother, refusing to sleep. Every time her mother coughed, Lily's small hand tightened, as if she could hold her back from slipping away. Keanu stood near the window, staring into the night. His mind replayed the warning text over and over. "Stay out of this, Reeves. This is bigger than you." He had faced threats before in his life, but something about this felt different. This wasn't just about him. It was about a child who had no one else. Then his phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. This time, a picture appeared on the screen. It was of the car where Lily and her mom had been living, but now it was surrounded by men. One of them held a lighter, flames dancing dangerously close to the car's blanket-covered windows. Keanu's jaw clenched. They wanted him to know that they were watching, that nowhere was safe. He slipped the phone into his pocket, hiding the image from Lily. But deep inside, his determination grew stronger. Suddenly, the mother stirred. Her weak voice broke the silence. "Keanu, you don't understand who they are. If you fight them, they'll destroy you too." Keanu turned to her, his voice calm but steady. "Then tell me who they are." Her eyes filled with tears. She looked at Lily, then back at him. "They're not just criminals. They work for someone powerful. People with money. People who buy silence. If anyone speaks against them, they disappear." Lily gripped her mother's hand tighter. "Don't say too much, Mom," she whispered, fear in her voice. But the mother shook her head slowly. "He deserves to know. He's risking himself for us." Her eyes locked onto Keanu's. "My husband, Lily's father. He tried to stand up to them. He wanted to expose what they were doing to families like ours. Then one day he was just gone. No goodbye, no body, just gone." The room fell into a painful silence. Lily's lip trembled, her voice breaking. "I still believe he's out there," she whispered. "I dream he'll come back for us. But—" She stopped, wiping her tears quickly. "But I don't know anymore." Keanu's chest tightened. He realized this wasn't just about debt, or even survival. It was about something larger, something hidden in shadows. And now, Lily's father was another missing piece in a puzzle that was darker than he thought. Before he could respond, a loud crash echoed from outside. The window rattled. Lily screamed softly. Her mother gasped. Keanu rushed to the window. A black car had pulled up outside the safe house. The headlights cut through the darkness like knives. 3 figures stepped out. Their movements were slow, confident. They weren't here to talk. Keanu moved fast. "Stay here," he said firmly, looking at Lily. Don't open the door, no matter what. Lily clutched his sleeve desperately. Please don't go. They'll hurt you too. He knelt down, placing his hand gently on her shoulder. I promise you, I'll be back. She looked into his eyes, searching for something, and in that moment, she believed him. Outside, the men approached. One of them carried a bat, another a chain. The third had his hands in his pockets, but the cold smirk on his face told Keanu, Enough? He was the one in charge. Mr. Reeves, the leader called out mockingly. You should have listened to the warning. This isn't your fight. Keanu stepped into the open, calm but unyielding. It became my fight the moment you threatened them. The men laughed, but there was no humor in it. You think you can protect them? You don't know who we answer to. You don't know what we own. Keanu's eyes narrowed. Then tell me. The leader's smirk faded slightly, but he didn't answer. Instead, he nodded at the others. They stepped forward, weapons in hand. Keanu stayed calm, his body steady, his eyes sharp. He wasn't a fighter looking for glory, but he was a protector, and tonight, that was enough. The first man swung the bat. Keanu moved quickly, sidestepping, grabbing the man's arm and twisting. The bat fell to the ground with a thud. The man cried out in pain. The second man lunged with the chain, but Keanu ducked low using the fallen bat to block the swing. The chain wrapped around the bat instead, giving Keanu the chance to yank it free. The leader watched, his smirk fading into a frown. He hadn't expected resistance, but Keanu wasn't finished. With swift, precise movements, he disarmed the second man and pushed him back. The two attackers staggered, groaning, but the fight wasn't over. The leader finally stepped forward, his eyes cold. You don't get it, Reeves, he hissed. This is bigger than one girl, bigger than her mother. Walk away now, and maybe we'll let you live. Keanu's voice was calm, steady, but filled with quiet fire. I don't walk away. Not when a child begs for help. The leader's smirk returned, but it was thinner now, forced. He leaned close and whispered, Then you've just signed your death sentence. With that, he pulled a phone from his pocket, pressed a button and said into it, Bring him the message, tonight. Keanu's eyes narrowed. Whoever him was, this fight was only beginning. Back inside, Lily peeked from the window, her small face pale with fear. She didn't understand everything, but she knew one thing. Keanu had stood for them when no one else would. And for the first time in a long time, she felt a spark of hope. But she also felt something else, a deep, gnawing fear. Because if these men worked for someone even more powerful, then the danger wasn't over. It was only growing. The safe house was no longer safe. After the men left, the silence in the room was tense, broken only by the mother's weak breathing and Lily's quiet sobs. Keanu sat by the door, his mind sharp and restless. He knew the fight outside was only a warning. The real danger hadn't even arrived yet. His phone buzzed again. Another message. You have until tomorrow night to hand them over. If not, the whole city will know the price of crossing us. Keanu stared at the words, his jaw tight. These men weren't just bullies on the street. They had reach, resources, and something darker pulling the strings. He turned the phone off and slipped it away. He couldn't let Lily or her mother see the message. Fear was already tearing them apart. More fear would break them completely. Then Lily's mother spoke, her voice trembling. Keanu, you don't understand. They won't stop. They never stop. They want Lily because of me. Keanu looked at her, his eyes steady. Because of you? Why? The woman hesitated, her lips pale. She turned away, but Lily looked up at Keanu, her voice small. Tell him, Mom. Please. He needs to know. A long silence passed before the mother whispered, I used to work for them. Keanu froze. She continued, her words shaking. Before everything fell apart, I worked in one of their offices. I didn't know who they really were at first. They looked like a company, like a business helping families with loans. But it was all a lie. I saw them take homes, take children, take lives. I tried to quit, but once you know their secrets, they don't let you go. When I couldn't keep quiet anymore, I tried to leak documents. I thought people would listen. But the next week, my husband disappeared, and we were left running. Her voice cracked, tears streaming down her face. And now, they want Lily. They think she's the only way to silence me for good. Keanu's stomach dropped. This wasn't just about debt. This was about exposure, about silencing someone who had seen too much. Lily grabbed her mother's hand tightly. "You didn't do anything wrong," she whispered. "You tried to help people. You're not the bad one." Keanu felt a surge of anger. These people weren't just criminals. They were parasites feeding on the weak. And now they had set their eyes on a child. He stood, determination burning in his eyes. "Then we stop running. If they want silence, we'll give them truth instead." The mother shook her head, terrified. "No, you don't understand. They have power everywhere. They pay people to look the other way, even the police." But Keanu wasn't listening to fear. He was already planning. He stepped outside to make a call to his friend again. The voice on the other end was uneasy. "I found something. The group you're up against, they're tied to a man named Veyron. People call him the broker. He moves money, secrets, people. And if you have something he wants, he won't stop until he owns it." "What does he want with them?" Keanu asked, his voice low. "Maybe it's not them he wants," his friend said grimly. "Maybe it's what she knows. If she really has evidence of their crimes, then she's the only thread that could unravel everything." Keanu's pulse quickened. If that was true, then protecting Lily and her mother wasn't just about survival. It was about exposing something much bigger. When he returned, inside, Lily was sitting awake, staring at the floor. She looked up at him with wide, scared eyes. "They'll never stop, will they?" Keanu knelt down in front of her. "They will, because we'll find a way to end this." But even as he said it, he knew the road ahead would be dangerous. Later that night, as everyone finally rested, Keanu stayed awake by the window. Then, faintly, he heard footsteps outside. He moved silently, peeking through the curtains. A black van sat at the corner of the street. Its headlights were off, but shadows moved inside. Someone was watching. Keanu's gut tightened. They had already found them again. Before he could act, the sound of glass shattering echoed from the back of the house. "Stay with your mom!" Keanu ordered Lily as he rushed toward the noise. A masked figure had slipped through the back window, moving quickly, silently. This wasn't some street thug. This was a professional. The intruder lunged, a blade glinting in his hand. Keanu blocked the strike, forcing the fight into the small kitchen. Chairs toppled. Glass broke. But Keanu fought with precision, refusing to let the man through. Finally, with one strong move, he pinned the intruder against the wall. He tore the mask away and froze. The face staring back at him wasn't what he expected. It was a young man, no older than 20. His eyes were wide with fear. "Please," the boy gasped. "They made me do it. If I don't bring her, they'll kill me." Keanu's grip loosened slightly, shock running through him. This wasn't just a gang of hardened criminals. They were using desperate kids, forcing them into darkness. The boy trembled, his eyes pleading. "They're coming! More of them! You can't win like this! Not alone!" Keanu's heart pounded. He knew the boy was right. But in that moment, as he looked at Lily asleep beside her mother, he also knew one thing. He wasn't going to back down. The intruder boy sat trembling in the corner, his mask on the floor, his hands shaking. Lily's Mother coughed weakly from the couch while Lily held her tightly, eyes wide with fear. Keanu stood in the middle of the room, his mind racing. The boy's words echoed in his ears. "They're coming! More of them! You can't win like this! Not alone!" Keanu knew he was right, but giving up was never an option. He crouched in front of the boy. "What's your name?" The boy swallowed hard. "Danny." "Listen, Danny," Keanu said firmly but gently. "You don't have to do what they say anymore. You're scared, I get it, but you don't have to keep hurting people for them. Help me protect them and I'll help you." Danny's eyes filled with tears. "You don't understand. The broker, he owns everything. Police, businesses, even families like mine. If I don't do what he says, he'll kill everyone I love." Keanu's voice was calm, steady. Then it's time someone stopped him. A silence hung in the air, heavy with fear. Then, for the first time, Danny nodded. "I know where he is," he whispered. "But if you go there, you won't come back alive." Keanu glanced at Lily and her mother. Their lives depended on ending this. There was no choice. He leaned closer to Danny. "Take me to him." Hours later, the city lights faded behind them as Danny led Keanu to the broker's place. It wasn't a rundown warehouse or an alley. It was a shining glass building, tall and cold, glowing in the night. "He hides in plain sight," Danny said bitterly. "Everyone thinks it's just another business tower. But behind those walls, he controls everything." Keanu felt his stomach tighten. This wasn't just crime. It was corruption built into the heart of the city. They entered through a side door, moving silently through dim hallways. Danny's hands shook as he pointed the way. Every step felt heavier, like walking into the center of a storm. Finally, they reached a grand office at the top floor. Tall windows overlooked the city, and there, sitting behind a desk of polished wood, was the man himself, the broker. He was calm, well-dressed, his smile sharp like a blade. "Mr. Reeves," he said smoothly, as if greeting an old friend. "You've caused quite the mess." Keanu stepped forward, his eyes steady. "Let them go. The girl, her mother. This ends tonight." The broker laughed softly. "You think this is about one girl? About one sick woman? No. This is about control, about power. Her husband thought he could take that from me. He paid the price. And now she will too." Keanu froze. "Her husband?" The broker leaned back, smirking. "Yes, Lily's father. Brave man, really. He tried to expose me. But people who try to fight me disappear. Permanently." A gasp came from the doorway. Lily's mother had followed them, leaning weakly against the wall with Lily by her side. Her eyes widened in horror. You took him from us." The broker's smile widened. "And I can take anyone else who stands in my way?" Lily cried out, tears streaming down her face. "You're lying! My dad isn't gone. I know he's alive." The broker chuckled darkly. "Believe what you want, little one. Hope makes people weak." Keanu's fists clenched. But then something shifted. Danny stepped forward, his voice trembling but loud. "You're wrong. Hope makes us fight." The broker's eyes narrowed. "Traitor?" He reached for something, under his desk, but Keanu was faster. In one swift move, he slammed the desk aside and pulled the broker out into the open. Papers scattered, glass cracked, and the fight began. The broker wasn't just a businessman. He moved with surprising speed, striking with precision, but Keanu fought with purpose, every move fueled by the faces of Lily and her mother. The struggle shook the room. Blows landed, glass shattered, until finally Keanu forced the broker against the window. The city lights glowed behind them like fire. "This ends now," Keanu said, his voice steady. The broker sneered. "You can't kill me. I'm untouchable." Even if I fall, others will take my place. Keanu's eyes burned with quiet strength. Then we don't bury this in silence. We bring the truth into the light. At that moment, Danny pulled a small drive from his pocket. I stole this, he said breathlessly. It has everything. Names, accounts, proof. The world will know. The broker's face finally twisted with fear. He lunged, but Keanu held him back, pinning him as security lights flashed outside the building. Sirens wailed in the distance. For once, the world wasn't looking away. The doors burst open. Real authorities, those not on the broker's payroll, stormed in, tipped off by Danny's evidence. The broker was dragged away, shouting threats that no longer mattered. Outside, dawn broke. The first light of morning spilled across the city. Lily clung to her mother, tears of relief falling freely. You're safe now, Keanu said softly, kneeling down beside them. The mother whispered through tears. Thank you. You saved us. You gave us back hope. Lily looked up at him, her voice trembling. But what about my dad? Is he really gone? Keanu's heart ached. He couldn't lie. I don't know, he said gently. But what I do know is that he loved you. He fought for you. And now, because of that, the truth will live on. Lily's small hand slipped into his. Then I'll keep fighting too. For him. For Mom. For us. Keanu smiled softly. In that moment, he saw strength in her eyes. The same. Strength her father had shown, the same courage her mother carried, and for the first time in a long time, he knew they would be okay.